Hi beautiful, welcome to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you all of my favorite palettes for this spring 2024 season. This is one of my favorite seasonal videos to do, to pull out all of the palettes that I'm going to be using throughout the next few months, to tell you guys what colors are inspiring me this time around and share with you guys all of my favorite color stories at the moment. If you're excited for today's video, give it a thumbs up. Of course, all of these palettes are listed and linked in the description box below, so if you're interested in any of them, check out the description box. Also, I'm about to mention a lot of brands that I have discount codes for, and all of that information you can find in the description. So let's get started. My vibes this spring season are definitely soft colors like pastels, but also a lot of roses. And I think it's because I'm having a baby girl, I'm having my baby shower very soon. And so I know I'm going to be wearing a lot of rosy toned eyeshadows this spring season. And then as usual, when it comes to spring, I love my soft glam looks and my pastel shades. So in no particular order, let's just get through my favorite 10 palettes this spring. The first one I want to mention is actually a quad from Pat McGrath. This one right here, the Celestial Divinity Luxe Quad in Flor Fantasia. And you can take a look right here at how wonderful this palette looks. This from Pat McGrath is the quad that to me has the most spring vibes out of all of them. I love this matte color right here. This one truly makes the palette beautiful and special. It's like a perfect little peachy, rosy, warm color. Fantastic for the crease. As you can see, amazing pigmentation. It blends like an absolute dream, and it pairs very well with the three shimmers that she put in this palette. Take a look right there. I love the springy soft glam vibes that this palette gives. I don't actually remember if I ever did like a long form video using this eyeshadow quad. I do remember at some point I did like a reel for my Instagram where I created a look using this palette, but every spring, I promise you, I bring this one out and I use it, and I love it because it has that beautiful rosy soft glamorous look to it that is fantastic. And it's just a very easy palette to go through. You don't have to make a lot of decisions when it comes to just these four shades. Plus, because it's a quad, it's also really nice and travel friendly. Highly recommended. This one's definitely been around for years at this point. It's an oldie but a goodie, okay? I love it. This next pick is definitely baby girl inspired, because this is one of the palettes I'm considering taking with me for when I go to Miami for my baby shower. Also from Pat McGrath, I'm talking about the Pat McGrath Mothership VII eyeshadow palette. This is one of my all-time favorite Mothership palettes. I love my baby pink limited edition packaging, and then once you open this one, here is what it looks like. It's not the most springy palette per se, but because I'm very into the mauvey pinks at the moment and they totally go with my baby shower outfit, this is a palette that I know I'm going to be getting use out of this spring. Plus it has the most amazing shimmers too. This matte shade right here and this one to deepen up the outer corner are both absolutely magical. And then of course Pat has the most amazing pigmented, blendable, glidey, potent matte formula. I love Pat McGrath shimmers, but her mattes do not disappoint. So to combine these shades with colors like this one here, for example, or this beautiful shimmer shade, ooh, what a dream. These are totally the vibes right here that I am going for. And these four shades are absolutely going to create beautiful, soft, glamorous, springy looks. I also really love this iridescent pinky light shade for the inner corner. Let's swatch it right here as well. Honestly, one of my all-time favorite Mothership palettes from Pat McGrath, and with reason. This is totally a palette that you can use year-round. It doesn't have to be spring for you to be pulling this one out. But like I said, this time around, I'm definitely inspired to pull this one out and create some looks and play. If you have this palette in your collection or you're interested in grabbing it, I do have a couple of videos where I created looks with this one. I of course have a 5 looks 1 palette with it that has very beautiful, girly, soft, glamorous looks. And then I believe I also have the original review video where I first tried it. So if you're looking for inspiration, definitely check those out. I'm not quite done with Pat McGrath yet. I do have one more palette to talk about, and that is Mothership number 9. this one right here. Does this outer packaging not say spring and summer to you? This one I love because it has beautiful pinks and purples in it, which are totally the vibe. I also really love this peachy shade right here. These two shimmers are some of my most favorite shimmer shades Pat has ever created. They are extremely blingy for sure. You cannot be afraid of shimmer if you try this palette. But every time, I promise you, your eyes are totally going to be the most spectacular focus. So of course, because of shimmers like these, which by the way are perfect for this time of year, and also mattes like these right here, this palette is perfection for the spring season. Just like with my other big Mothership palette, I do have 2 videos with looks on this one. The video where I first reviewed the palette, where I created a couple of looks, and then I did also do a 5 looks 1 palette with it, which was an absolute blast. This is possibly one of my most favorite palettes in my collection, and I really love playing with it. Also a contender for that baby shower makeup look. Maybe I can combine them. Yeah, right? Because I can use some of the mattes and roses from Mothership VII, and then I can use this color right here, right in the center. Yes, right? I feel like that's going to be beautiful. But also, I have never traveled with my Mothership palettes, which does make me nervous. So we'll see. I feel like the occasion definitely merits it, right? Done with Pat McGrath. So let's move on to an indie brand. Let's move on to an indie brand that has been growing and growing and growing on me lately. And they have some spectacular palettes when it comes to the spring season this year. I'm talking about Glaminatrix Cosmetics, and I'm going to go for the most obvious palette first, and then the one that you're probably not thinking of, I'll do second. The most obvious one from Glaminatrix, of course, the Glaminatrix Pretty in Pastels palette that they launched recently. This is spring in a palette right here. By the way, I have a Glaminatrix Cosmetics discount code if you're interested in this one or the next one or anything else on their website. The code is PATTY10 and you can get 10% off of your purchase. Anyways, this palette has the prettiest, springiest, most beautiful color story. I love that it's organized by colors because it makes it very easy to create looks with it. And I of course love the incredible shimmer shades that they included in this one. Take a look right there. The purple, the green, the very icy blue, the yellow, every single one of these shimmers is incredible. And the pastel matte shades actually perform beautifully. Plus, I love the dark row at the bottom. Not very springy, but if you want to just smoke everything out just a little bit, I love that each color has their own kind of smoky shade that you can add to make the looks a little bit sultrier and a little bit sexier. Absolutely love this one. I did do a video reviewing it because I was very impressed with this Glaminatrix Cosmetics launch, and I believe I did 3 different looks in that one. So if you're interested, definitely check it out. And then the Glaminatrix Cosmetics palette that you're probably not necessarily thinking of, but I think it's amazing for the spring season, and that is the Glaminatrix Cosmetics Sugar and Spice palette. I feel like Sugar and Spice sounds very fall because we're used to all of these cinnamon things from Too Faced for the fall season. But this palette I think is incredible for the spring season as well. So first of all, as you can see at the bottom here, it has the most amazing row of pastel shades, which is totally what made me think of it, of course. And I love that you can combine these beautiful pastel shades with the neutral colors right here at the top. So if you want to dabble into the pastels, but you're not very comfortable going all out with just pastels, you can create a look that combines these very safe looking neutrals up here with the really beautiful pastels at the bottom, and they're going to be perfect for the spring season. As I just mentioned with the previous palette, I love Glaminatrix shimmers, and so this one is very impressive to me. And they also have really good multi-chromy shifty shades that I love. Let's swatch these. Take a look right there. Beautiful, right? But then also take a look at this pastel purple and this beautiful minty green right here. Both also incredibly amazing shades with beautiful formulas. I think that this Sugar and Spice palette from Glaminatrix Cosmetics is amazing for the spring season and the summer season too. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. Let's do the palette that I am wearing next, which is this new one from Danessa Myricks, the Danessa Myricks Blooming Romance palette. I pulled this one out because this has the rosiest color story out of all of the rosy palettes that I own, and I really, really love it. It has all the way from the palest rose to the deepest rose tone, and you can go very cool toned or a little bit warmer, as I did today. I tried to use some of the warmer colors today to match my warm blush that I'm wearing. And every time I pull this palette out to create an eyeshadow look, I end up really loving the result. The eyeshadow look I created today was very simple. I used maybe 3 or 4 shades from this palette to get here. These are very easy to build up and to blend out. They're not the most intensely pigmented colors, however, I feel like that makes them very user-friendly. You can always go back with a little bit more, and the fact that a lot of them are creams makes them very, very easy to like melt into the skin, to blend out into one another. Just a fantastic palette, and also one that makes me feel very good about like the rose tones in it, because none of these tones are too bright or too in your face. They're all very, very natural looking, and they look beautiful with one another. You don't have to think much about combining colors when it comes to this one. Anything you combine that is in this color story will go with the next color, you know? I of course also love the multifunctionality of this one. You can use these colors not just on your eyes like I did today, but also on your cheeks or your lips. I don't love it for the lips though, if I'm gonna be honest with you. I feel like it's a bit too dry, but I do love these colors as blushes. Let's move on to some Natasha Denona next. I have 2 palettes from Natasha Denona that I know I'll be reaching for a lot throughout the spring season, and it's not the pastel palette, believe it or not. I do have a Natasha Denona discount code for her website. If you guys are interested in purchasing anything Natasha Denona, my Natasha Denona discount code is PATTY15, and you actually get 15% off of Natasha Denona with that code. Anyways, the first one I want to tell you about is actually a mini palette. It is the Natasha Denona Mini Starlette palette right here. This one came out a few months ago, and I feel like the spring season is the perfect time to use it. I mean, it's a soft glam cool tone palette, so truly you can use it year round, but I'm just very into the rosy soft glam looks this spring, and I feel like you can absolutely get that look with this little palette. Plus it is very, very travel friendly. You're not going to get a lot of depth with these colors, so if you have a darker complexion, this might not be the best palette for you. However, I do love how beautifully these mattes combine with one another, and on skin tones like mine, they do create fantastic, beautiful, and very easy soft glam looks. To complete your soft glam look with this Natasha palette, you also have these incredible shimmers right here that are not as like in your face as the Pat McGrath shimmers I showed you earlier. They're a little bit more subtle and a little bit more elegant, we'll say. And of course, when you only have 5 shades in a palette, it becomes very easy for you to combine these colors with one another in order to create looks with it. I do have a video reviewing this little quint right here where I did 2 different looks with it. I did a warm look and a cool toned look with it, just to kind of show you a bit of variety. So definitely check it out if you're interested. And then the other Natasha Denona palette I am sure to be using throughout this spring season is the Natasha Denona I Need a Nude palette. This palette has simply become a staple for me and my makeup collection. It is probably one of my all-time favorite palettes in my collection at this point. I truly love it that much. If all of my palettes were to magically disappear, this would probably be one of the first ones I would buy again. I simply love the softness of these shades, but then it also has the ability of becoming a darker, smokier, sultrier palette with the addition of this beautiful dark brown shade. I love colors like Wit and Vague right here because they're nice and peachy but very natural looking as well. And of course, all of the more neutral to cool tone mattes are incredible. Besides that, this palette also has incredible shimmer shades in it, like the shades Mesh and Sheen and Muse right here. They're elegant shimmers, very, very finely milled, but still they make your eyes shine beautifully. I do of course have my video up reviewing this palette from when it first came out a few months ago where I created a couple of looks with it, and then I also worked on a 5 looks 1 palette, which you can see on the screen, and I tried to give you a variety of soft glam looks in this one that you can create with this palette, all of which I really love. So I love this palette and I'll definitely be getting quite a bit of use out of it this spring season. 2 more palettes to go. Both of them are from Odin's Eye, and both of them are like nice and colorful but soft and pastel-ish at the same time. I do have an Odin's Eye discount code as well. The code is PATTY10 and you can save 10% off of the Odin's Eye website. By the way, Odin's Eye is running a promotion right now with mystery boxes. So if you have been wanting to try the brand for a while but you're not sure what to get, just be surprised with their mystery boxes, which you can get at 2 different price points. You can get $90 worth of Odin's Eye products for $45 or $170 worth of Odin's Eye products for $75. The $75 mystery box is a good deal. So if you don't have a lot of Odin's Eye in your collection and you're wanting to try their formulas and their palettes and all of that, definitely check out the mystery boxes and be surprised at what you might get at a very discounted price. And you can use my code PATTY10 to save some money off of your mystery box, by the way. Anyways, that promotion just started the day I'm filming this video, so it was top of mind. I had to let you guys know. Let's get onto the 2 Odin's Eye palettes that I'm going to be reaching for the most this spring. One of them is an oldie but a goodie, and that is this one right here, the Soain 2 palette. This one came out, I believe, around 2 years ago at this point, and it's a palette that I've honestly loved ever since it first came out. It has a beautiful color story that is nice and soft all at the same time. Odin's Eye shimmers are some of my favorite shimmers from indie brands. Let's swatch a few. Take a look right there. So pretty, so shiny. And let's swatch them right here. They're super creamy. This palette is 2 years old and look at how creamy these shades are still. Also, with the exception of this more reddish warm shade right here at the bottom, how perfect are those shimmers for the spring season. This palette also comes equipped with some fantastic matte colors. Take a look right there. And I'm honestly all about soft, colorful looks like these for spring. So this one is definitely going to get used. I did a video when this palette first came out that you can look up on my channel where I created probably 3 looks with it. I don't remember, maybe 2. But most likely 3. So if you have this palette, or if you're interested, or if you get it in your mystery box, definitely check out that video. Last but not least, another palette from Odin's Eye I'll be reaching for this spring season is this beauty right here, the Spring Dragon palette. This is a collaboration palette that recently came out with Judy. Here are the colors on the inside. Here's the beautiful pastel color story. This palette obviously is screaming loudly spring at you. In fact, it's called the Spring Dragon palette. I really love the shades that Judy shows for her color story. From the soft yellow and mint shade to the beautiful lilac, or this neutral brown right here with which you can deepen up any of these pastel mattes. I really love these. And they're so creamy. Take a look right there. Wow. And then of course Odin's always brings it with the shimmers. And these shimmers are the perfect combination for the matte colors in this palette. They're soft, they're colorful, and they are perfection for spring. I think out of the 3 Legendary Diversa Part 2 collection palettes, even though I love the Annette one because it's super versatile, this one was the one that I had the most fun playing with, and I'll definitely be bringing it out quite a bit throughout the spring season. Believe it or not, that was 10. Those are my top 10 palettes for spring 2024. I'm going to leave these out and I'm going to be playing with them for the next few months. If you're interested in any of these, definitely check them out in the description box down there. As I said at the beginning, you can find the links for the palettes and also the discount codes, or you might already have these palettes in your collection, in which case I recommend you bring some out and play with them throughout the spring season. Check out the videos I mentioned if you're interested in like eyeshadow look inspirations and whatnot. I truly hope that you guys liked this video. If you did, don't forget to please give it a thumbs up. Before you leave, subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. I love you all so much. Thank you for watching and I hope to see you back in the next one. Bye.